Hi everybody. Hello. Today it's quite late. It's just coming up to 4 o'clock in the afternoon at the end of November, so it's quite dark, dismal. So I'm hoping it's going to be bright enough in here to do a little film. But I wanted to show you a few techniques on how to do snow. So I've got 4 sections here. We're going to look at how to use salt, splattering, lifting, and just using brushes. And I'm going to first of all just take a Chinese brush or a wash brush or something like that, wet it in clean water. I have 2 pots, one for cleaning my brushes and another for mixing my colours. I'm just going to pick up a dark blue. Now you can use an ultramarine, but I'm just going to use an indigo or a phthalo blue, mainly because the technique will stand out better. And I'm just going to put this down on the splattering section. And the reason why I'm doing this is so that I can let this dry off because I need to splatter on top of it. And onto the lifting section. Now I'm going to do this in 2 sections. I'm going to put one section down here because we're going to learn how to lift off snow on already dry watercolour, and then later I will re-wet this and lift it off on wet watercolour. And then on the brush section, I'm just going to fill this in. It's just quickly. I mean, if you're doing a proper painting, then obviously you would put your wash down a little bit more carefully than this, but it's just test sheets. All right, so what you want to do is let that dry. So the final technique for snow, there are other techniques, but these are 4 of the main ones that I use, is just to use a brush. And what you want is a really knackered brush. So I've got an old acrylic brush here that's been used for all sorts of jobs. This is a really good one for splattering because it's dry and it's short. The hairs are short, ideal. So what you need to do is take gouache and paint on the snow with this brush. And you're using it like a stipple brush. If you've got a stipple brush, then that's great. And you're just going to pick up some paint. And this is gouache again. Again, you can use acrylic paint, but the thing is with acrylic is that once it's on and it's dry, that's it. You can't get it off. Whereas with the gouache, you can remove it. So nice, tired stipple brush, bit of a toothbrush, old acrylic brush, old decorating brushes. They all do a great job. And you just need to make sure that the hairs are fairly dry and that the paint on there is fairly thin. Yeah? You can see, I don't know whether you can see that. Is it out of focus? It's a bit difficult because my design desk gets in the way. I don't know whether you can see that. Okay? So there's minimal paint on this brush, and all you're going to do is you're going to use your brush vertically, not horizontally like this, but vertically, and you're just going to touch the paper very gently like this. And again, it's practice, but you know, you will get some big drops and some little drops. And some marks that are a bit heavy, but you can move them around and just play with it. This is probably more suitable for a sort of heavy flurry of snow rather than a light flurry of snow. And just, this is good for also for putting snow on trees, on mountain tops, on top of foliage, that sort of thing. Okay. So again, don't overdo it and just experiment on pieces of paper before you go and put it on your final pictures. The other thing that people that's recommended is that you don't just put white on your snow. So mix up off-white colours. So put a touch of red in it, put a touch of brown in it, or even a touch of blue in it, to have some white and also some off-white colours, so that you don't just, if I show you, I've got a touch of orange on my palette there. I'm just going to put a bit of gouache into it. I can't remember which one we did gouache on, but this has got gouache on. So you can see, if you just put the odd snowdrop in a different colour, then it really gives it, you know, obviously snowdrops do catch the light. They do contain shadows, dark and light sections. So it would never just all be white. Okay, so just get in some odd marks here and there with some colour in it. Okay, just the odd mark. That's a bit strong, you can see. So I'm just going to go over that with a bit of white. I can actually just pick it up and move it around. So if you get it too strong, just use that as a little palette and just move those marks around. Okay, so that's a great tip. So have a go at all the techniques, find the one that you like the most, and then you can go and make hundreds of cards. But the other thing that I do regularly is I take old paintings that I've produced throughout the year and I splatter snow on top of them. So if you've got a painting of a sheep in a field, or a tree on a moorland, or something like that, simply, if you just use the technique, any of the techniques that I've used here, but the splattering one particularly, just splatter snow on top of it and suddenly it turns into a winter scene. Okay, have fun.